Iran calls for a halt to attack on neighbors as Israel hits Tehran with more strikes. Vice Premier Ding Xuexiang urges Hong Kong LegCo to help improve the executive-led system. And 3 workers in court charged with suspected theft from Wang Fuk site. Good evening and welcome to TVB News. Israeli warplanes bombed Tehran Friday and early Saturday, while U.S. President Donald Trump appeared to roll out talks with Iran and called for its unconditional surrender. Iran's president responded Saturday, calling an unconditional surrender a dream that they should take to their grave. Iran, meanwhile, launched more retaliatory strikes against Israel on day 7 of the war. This as the Russian foreign minister called all those suffering from U.S. and Israeli aggression their strategic partners. Tracy Furness has more.
Several explosions lit up the night sky in western Tehran as Israeli warplanes pounded the Iranian capital in the early hours of Saturday. Meanwhile, in Tel Aviv, explosions could be heard as white trails were seen in the sky as Iranian missiles were intercepted Friday. U.S. President Donald Trump has ruled out talks with Iran in a social media post calling for its unconditional surrender. When asked what the president meant by accepting only an unconditional surrender, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt told reporters that it will be achieved when the president determines Iran no longer poses a threat to the United States.
What the president means is that when he, as commander-in-chief of the U.S. Armed Forces, determines that Iran no longer poses a threat to the United States of America and the goals of Operation Epic Fury has been fully realized, then Iran will essentially be in a place of unconditional surrender. Whether they say it themselves or not, frankly, they don't have a lot of people to say that for them because the United States and the state of Israel have completely wiped out more than 50 leaders of the former terrorist regime, including the supreme leader himself.
Iran's President Pezeshkian said Saturday that the demand by the United States for an unconditional surrender is a dream that they should take to their grave.
The Iranian president said the country's armed forces have been instructed to stop attacks on neighboring Arab Gulf nations that took place in recent days. This after Tehran rained a barrage of missiles at targets hosting U.S. military facilities across the Middle East and launched attacks on Tel Aviv and the occupied West Bank. Waves of Israeli raids were also reported in Beirut, Lebanon, where Iran-backed Hezbollah has a large presence. Danny Zhou has more.
On Saturday morning, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian offered personal apologies to Gulf nations, saying the Islamic Republic will from now on cease striking or firing missiles at its neighbors unless attacked from there. The motion was approved by Iran's Temporary Leadership Council on Friday. Pezeshkian has suggested solving the issue through diplomacy, adding their offensive was a result of miscommunication in the ranks. The broadening Iran war has ricocheted across the Middle East and beyond. The Hezbollah armed group joined the fighting days ago by launching missiles and drones into Israel from Lebanon in the wake of the assassination of Ali Khamenei. Israeli troops were seen reinforcing communities along the northern border to give some semblance of security to local residents who are faced with double threat from both Iran and Hezbollah. A recent video shows what are likely ballistic missiles from Iran flying over the occupied West Bank and dropping smaller cluster munitions. Meanwhile, on Friday, pro-Iran demonstrations erupted in the streets of Iraq's capital, Baghdad, and ended on Tahrir Square as thousands waved flags and chanted slogans to stand up to what they described as crimes by the Zio-American aggression. In the north, the Rotana Arjan Hotel in Erbil, capital of Iraq's semi-autonomous Kurdish region, was targeted in a drone attack and caused no casualties. Kurdish dissidents have denied plans to carry out imminent cross-border attacks on Iran, but said they would join a ground invasion in the event of a U.S. operation. An official with the Kurdish Freedom Party reportedly said the Kurds must not place themselves as the spearhead of the attack. Amid widespread airspace disruptions, foreign countries have urged nationals to leave the Middle East on any available commercial flight, as airspace over Iran, Iraq, Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait and Syria remained closed. Oman, Egypt, Saudi Arabia and Jordan have become key exit points for repatriation efforts. Muscat Airport is heaving with travelers seeking a route out of the region. 2 aircraft carrying passengers from Dubai landed at Belgrade Airport in Serbia on Friday night. One of the passengers said upon arrival that the United Arab Emirates was doing a great job regarding the protection of their citizens and tourists. Danny Zhou, TVB News.
More than 100,000 people have been displaced while Pakistani and Afghan troops exchanged fire along the border in the past week. The South Asian nations show no sign of stopping in the worst fighting in years.
We have reports that up to 66,000 people have been displaced in Afghanistan just as a result of the latest fighting. In Pakistan as well, shelling and other fire has forced people to flee their homes. And civilians on both sides of this border are now having to flee from airstrikes, heavy artillery fire, mortar shelling, and gunfire.
Thousands rallied in Host against what they claim was Pakistan's military aggression against Afghanistan. Repeated appeals from the international community for restraint have had no effect as the fighting continued unabated. Pakistan has repeatedly accused the Taliban government in Kabul of harboring the Pakistani Taliban or TPP, a charge Kabul denies. This while the Host protesters urged the UN to send teams to investigate the killing of civilians in Afghanistan. Speaking to deputies from Hong Kong to the National People's Congress, Vice Premier Ding Xuexiang reiterated the importance of executive-led governance and urged Hong Kong's Legislative Council to conduct proper research with the goal of realizing more results. Vice Premier Ding Xuexiang, who oversees Hong Kong and Macau affairs, was warmly welcomed to the Great Hall of the People in Beijing by the Hong Kong delegates. Among the attendees were Hong Kong and Macau Affairs Office Director Xia Baolong, Hong Kong and Macau Affairs Office Executive Deputy Director Xu Qifang, as well as Liaison Office Director Zhou Xi. Speaking at the meeting, the Vice Premier highlighted the importance of executive-led governance in the city and stressed that it is a new requirement requested by President Xi Jinping.
在新的形势下
Ding said that in this new era, the president has new demands for the governance of Hong Kong, noting that executive-led governance entails more than just the roles of the chief executive and the SAR government, but that it expands to the legislative council, judiciary, and various sectors in society. He called upon residents of the city to conduct further research on the matter and seek ways to realize relevant goals. Regarding the improvement of executive-led governance, the Vice Premier emphasized his hope of the 8th Legislative Council under the presidency of Starry Lee to search for effective ways to produce results that fulfill the central government's requirements. He also took the opportunity to congratulate Lee's assumption of the role of LegCo president, reminding her that millions of Hong Kongers, Beijing, and all 1.4 billion Chinese citizens are putting their trust in her. Lee noted that she will do her utmost to carry out executive-led governance in the city and urged lawmakers to collect diverse opinions from local residents to allow for more scientific and humane legislation. This as some members of the Hong Kong delegation to the National People's Congress shared their thoughts on the city's contribution to the nation. Ma Fuk Court said Hong Kong has properly tackled serious national security cases, adding that the city has been more active in further integrating into the nation's overall development. 3 renovation workers earlier arrested on suspicion of committing a burglary inside a Wang Fuk Court unit appeared at the Sha Tin Magistrates Courts today. The Hong Kong Construction and Industry Employees General Union slammed the criminal act for its heinous nature, describing it as an isolated incident. The 3 workers, aged between 32 and 38 years old, each charged with 1 count of theft, appeared at the Sha Tin Magistrates Court this morning. They were suspected of stealing 7 pieces of jewelry while conducting renovation work at Wang Fuk Court's Wan Tai house, with the stolen goods costing approximately $90,000 in total. This as the Hong Kong Construction Industry Employees General Union condemned the burglary, but believes it to be an isolated case. Union Chairman Chelsea Kidd said it is difficult to monitor all the workers owing to the serious nature and scale of the renovation site, adding that it is likely an isolated case of greed that should not be attributed to the whole industry. The police said officers will accompany workers when entering the damaged structures to conduct renovation work, adding that workers will be searched for suspicious items when leaving the buildings. Speaking about Deputy Secretary for Administration Warner Chuk's earlier request to strengthen police oversight at Wang Fuk Court, Chow suggested that authorities should implement a blanket ban on workers carrying any backpacks inside the buildings. He added that metal detectors should be used in addition to physical checks. Regarding concerns about whether Wang Fuk Court residents will be compensated via home insurance if their homes were burgled, Hong Kong Federation of Insurers Chief Executive Selina Lau said it is unlikely to happen owing to the more than $400 million that insurance companies have already paid after the blaze. And still ahead, Canada and Japan sign agreement on defense and energy security. Tourism Board Chairman says LIV Golf sees up to 50,000 spectators. And Shetland ponies attract plenty of attention at Tycoon. Welcome back. Cuban state media has shown the arrival in Havana of the 150 Cuban medical staff who left Honduras after its newly elected right-wing government abruptly canceled their agreement to work in the country. This as large areas of Cuba were without power Friday due to damage at the island's largest electricity generator. Tracy Furness has more.
Jamaica's foreign ministry also said this week it was ending a decades-long agreement with Cuba involving medical missions. The unexpected move comes as the U.S. pushes for ending such missions, with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio calling it forced labor. This as large areas of Cuba were still without power Friday, as the state electricity company reported high generation deficits during peak hours. The latest outage, which began Wednesday, is attributed to damage at the Antonio Guterres thermoelectric power plant, the island's largest and most vital electricity generator. State media reporting that 2 other power plants are offline due to a lack of petroleum. Havana residents went about their daily chores, dealing with the usual challenges of reduced public transport, garbage accumulating on the streets, and constant power outages. Some parts of the capital had the power restored 24 hours after Friday's blackout. Tracy Furness, TVB News.
The U.S. Customs Agency is setting up a system to process refunds on U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs that were struck down as illegal. The mechanism needs to be ready within 45 days. According to Reuters, the refund would amount to $166 billion for around 330,000 importers. Last month, the U.S. Supreme Court struck down the tariffs, which were seen as unconstitutional, but was a central part of Trump's economic policy. Customs Agency said in a filing with the Court of International Trade that the new process will require minimal submission from importers. Those suing for refund include FedEx, L'Oreal, and CVS. Japanese and Canadian leaders have signed a strategic roadmap in Tokyo on Friday, aiming to enhance the country's partnership in defense, economic, and energy security. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney highlighted its significance with robust supply chains in strategic sectors at a time of geopolitical uncertainty.
That means reliable access in space-based communications, semiconductors, rare earths, SMRs, fusion, clean energy technology, AI, and sovereign cloud.
Because the world is at a turning point. We see the manifestations in the Middle East, we see it elsewhere. And in this changing security and economic environment, Canada and Japan, with our meeting today, are deepening our long-standing partnership. We're intensifying defense and security cooperation, from information sharing to joint exercises in the Indo-Pacific, so that we can do more faster and protect our citizens.
It is Carney's inaugural visit to Japan since taking office. He and his Japanese counterpart Sanae Takeuchi have also agreed to launch bilateral dialogues on economic security and cyber policies. Licenses for 6 outlying island ferry routes are set to expire at the end of this month. The Transport Department proposed a 5-year license renewal with fare adjustments for several routes. 4 routes will see an increase of about 12%, effective as early as next month. In their submissions to the government, the ferry operators sought fare hikes of 20 to 30%. After considering a variety of factors, including declining ridership, rising operating costs, and public affordability, the Transport Department approved a fare rise. The proposal suggests a fare increase of at least 12% for Sun Ferry's Central Cheongchao route and HKKF's Central Yongchuwan and Seokguwan routes. The highest increase applies to the ordinary ferry to Cheongchao, which will jump by 12.8% for adults. As for the Central to Muiwo and Pangshao routes, the department suggests standardizing fares for regular and high-speed ferries. The Hong Kong Palace Museum is currently hosting an exhibition of relics from ancient Egypt. The museum has partnered with Kowloon Motor Bus to launch 10 themed buses, offering residents an encounter with ancient Egyptian history across Hong Kong. Samantha Lee reports.
Featuring the exhibition's beloved character Pharaoh Cat and the bus company's icon KMB Boy, the buses extend the ancient Egyptian cultural experience beyond the museum. Themed stickers can be found inside the buses too. Seatbacks display how life in Hong Kong connects to ancient Egypt. By comparing things like food, cultural customs, and writing systems, the design lets passengers learn cool facts on the ride. Starting today, 10 themed buses will hit the road. They will serve several routes passing through the West Kowloon Cultural District, including open-top bus HK1, Pet Bus Tour, W4 to Tsim Sha Tsui, and 2960 to Cheung Kwan O. At over 100 bus stops across the city, the museum has introduced special digital posters presented in ancient Egyptian characters, Chinese and English. As of today, the museum has welcomed some 280,000 visitors for the exhibition Ancient Egypt Unveiled, Treasures from Egyptian Museums. With 4 more months to go, Museum Director of the Palace Museum, Louis Ng, is confident that the exhibition will reach their target of 700,000 visitors, making it the most popular display ever.
The first time, I think the Hong Kong Palace Museum collaborate with the KPM. I think to bring the art and culture, I think to wider setters, I think to wider audience. I think we are quite happy. I think through this collaboration, there's I think we can diversify. I think our offerings.
We're happy for the collaboration, and then we KMB tends to utilize all our bus routes for a different collaboration with different sectors. So we're happy with this collaboration, and then we think we can do a lot more in the future.
In celebration of Hong Kong Art March 2026, the Hong Kong Palace Museum and KMB will distribute 500 exhibition tickets during the 1-month operation of the themed buses. Members of the public can redeem tickets via KMB's mobile app. Samantha Lee, TVB News.
The Ponies on Parade event was held at Tai Kwun, offering the public a rare encounter with Shetland ponies. Some residents hope there will be more opportunities to engage with horses in the future. Celine Chan was there.
Horses are seen everywhere here at Tai Kwun. One here, another here. But they aren't just any horses. They are Shetland ponies, the ultimate cute breed from Scotland's Shetland Islands. This adorable encounter at Tai Kwun brings joy not just to kids. It also left these cuties giggling all around.
I'm fascinated with horses. I like touching the pony because it feels so soft and it feels warm and fuzzy.
Shetland ponies are gentle creatures, but for safety reasons, visitors are not allowed to ride on them. Nevertheless, everyone was still so happy just hanging out with them.
Shetland ponies are only 71 to 100 centimeters tall on average, but don't let their small size fool you.
According to horse caretakers, their legs are very powerful and they can run very fast. Tickets for 2 persons are sold online and are priced at $80. The package includes interactive experience with the ponies and a Tai Kwun shopping and dining electronic voucher. Online ticket sales for the event are already fully booked. A limited number of on-site tickets will be available depending on the situation. Those who couldn't get a ticket can also take photos outside the fence. Some parents hope that more opportunities for horse interactions and even equestrian courses will be available in the future.
I think that's fair to say, yeah. I think for most kids in Hong Kong, there's not a lot of opportunities to see horses. It would definitely be a nice thing. I didn't realise it was such a long wait to get into the horse centres.
Touching or approaching the horses in Hong Kong is quite expensive, and then activities and the frequency is not common at all. Even we would like to go to the some center to approaching the horses, you need to book, and also in a group of people book in advance.
Ponies on Parade is one of Hong Kong Jockey Club's activities under its Year of the Horse campaign. Interested residents can catch Shetland ponies this weekend or next Sunday to see the fluffiness in person. Celine Chan, TVB News.
As the LIV Golf Hong Kong tournament enters its third day, the tourism board estimates a turnout of up to 50,000 spectators.
This year is the third year we have LIV Golf, and this is the first time to have extended from 3 days to 4 days. I think we will attract about 40 to 50,000 people coming to these events, and hopefully we can do more. And I'm sure that we have been signed up for next year too as well. So we're expecting next year will be even more successful.
When asked how Hong Kong is affected by recent Middle East conflicts, Lam said there's no immediate threat, but warned that surging gold and oil prices require close monitoring and a strategic response. And that's the news. Thanks for watching.